and welcome back to another episode of the Practice Players Podcast. This is going to be episode 6, and as always, I'm David.
I'm Nick.
I'm Nate.
And we are the Practice Players. Dan and Nick both eager to get on today. That's a good sign. Dan doesn't sound too sad about that Cowboys loss, so I'm glad to see him cheery, ready to go, but we're not here to talk about his favorite football team not being good. We're here to talk about our guest. So as always, Nate, if you just want to start the episode off by introducing yourself, your story, and what you do now.
Yeah, I'm Nate Smoot. I'm a student manager at Youngstown State University for the men's basketball team. And my story is pretty unique, actually. I used to coach high school basketball at my alma mater. And I work at a golf country club in Youngstown Country Club. And Youngstown State's old basketball coach is a member there. And one day we were just talking, hitting it off, and he asked me what I wanted to do when I got older. And I said I always wanted to coach college basketball. And he brought up that I should probably become a manager and he could help me if I was interested in it. And I said, absolutely, just tell me what I need to do and I'll do whatever it takes. And he made a few calls for me, and he got me in at Youngstown State, and from there it just really took off for me as soon as I got started.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dan jumping the gun.
That's really cool. Also, I'm a big time golfer too, so that's awesome. That's your story too, because it's unique. I have a question for you about being a student assistant. I know that takes a lot of work with no recognition. I mean, myself and David are student managers. Hollywood over there, he doesn't have to really go through what we have to go through. But my question for you is what keeps you motivated daily? Because it's such an intense job with not much credit. So what would you say keeps you motivated?
I feel like I have a lot of good role models at Youngstown State with our coaching staff, with one of our assistant coaches, Ben Asher. David actually got to meet him. He was a manager himself, and just seeing how young he is and how far he's gotten already really shows to me that the big picture is not too far away, and that just keep grinding daily, and sooner than later everything will pan out.
I wanted to ask you, I know Dave is a big stats guy, so I'm sure he's eager to hear this answer. So Youngstown State is top 25 in offense according to Ken Pom. What kind of systems do you guys run that keep you in this top 25?
Our coaches, they're very big on teaching our guys on how to actually play the game, not just come in and do your own thing. They want the guys to actually learn how to play the game, learn how to make reads, and every single day of practice, no matter what day it is, it could be right before a game or 3 days before a game, where our guys are doing reps of reads they're going to get in the game against who we play, just different situations. No matter how little it is, we put little X's and stuff on the floor where our guys need to get. And some coaches might think that's not that big of a deal, little things like that. I mean, they're Division I players. They should know where to be, but those little things that you beat in their mind every single day really pans out. As you can tell, we're averaging near 85 points per game and a top 5 offense in the nation.
Yeah, no, you guys are fun to watch. I was lucky enough and appreciate you getting those tickets when I watched you guys play at the Nutter against Wright State, and your offense, I mean, was looking phenomenal. And one thing that I definitely wanted to touch on, how do you feel about the portal? Because I know we had a conversation about this earlier. You helped me out with a assignment I was doing for it. But the portal as a whole, in my opinion, has really helped mid-major schools like Youngstown State. For example, you got a guy in Dwayne Cohill. And for the viewers, if you don't know who Dwayne Cohill is, pause the podcast unless you're driving. Go to your phone, just look up his highlights from this year. I promise, your Instagram candy. But going back to the question, how do you feel, or what is your opinion, I guess is a better way to put it, of the portal?
Well, like you brought up Dwayne Cohill, actually our whole starting 5, which we just talked about how efficient our offense is in the nation, our whole starting 5 is all transfers. And I feel like just those guys coming in from different experiences and all, they have a background. They've been playing the game already for a certain amount of time where you start bringing in these freshmen, they don't have a college experience yet, which you, of course, you still need to bring in some guys that lay your foundation and all and build them up. But really, we're just big on bringing some guys in just so we stay old. They know how to play the game. And yeah, that's just really a big on a mid-major schools is being able to bring in these transfers where we have 2 6-year seniors, and that's a huge difference compared to an 18-year-old freshman.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And then going back into the coaching side of things, and I know you said earlier in the pod that you want to be a coach one day, but technically you already are now. I mean, the viewers don't know this, but you are a big AAU coach coaching on a EYBL circuit this upcoming season. So a question I had is, being such a young coach at that level, what strategies do you use, or what sort of things do you do to help motivate and teach your young team?
So last year I coached with on the 3SSB circuit, which is Adidas, with Wildcat Select, and they really opened a lot of doors for me over there. I really got my foot in the door. Didn't know anything about circuit basketball until our first trip to Indianapolis, and it was really eye-opening for me. And I learned a lot on the Adidas circuit and all. And the standpoint where I'm from, I want to become a coach, so I want to open as many doors as possible. So I reached out to George Howard, who is him and Jerry Watson. They're the godfathers of AAU basketball over on the EYBL circuit, and they are willing to take an opportunity on me. I'm not a coach for a certain team. I'm helping out with every team, just really helping out with their organization, recruiting wise and all, trying to introduce them to kids that I know. And yeah, I don't really have a set team. It's more of a networking for me. I just really want to travel and meet as many college coaches as possible because I feel like that's the way to become a name in the college or professional industry is by networking.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then sort of bouncing off that, seeing that you see every day the experience of D1 players and what it takes to get to that level. And then you're also seeing all the AAU kids trying to grind to that level. Hopefully, if this can benefit anyone out there listening, what would you recommend to AAU players or current high school players trying to get to that next step?
So I train a lot of kids myself, and I always stress get in the gym and get reps, take shots. You talk to any kid, they're going to tell you they do it. But from my standpoint, you can tell who is actually doing it. I see it daily on the guys taking shots. Three of our some guys that stand out: Dwayne Cohill, Bryce McBride, Malik Green, Johnny Lovelace. Some guys from Youngstown State, they live in the gym. I mean, they're getting 300 shots a day, and that's just not a number I'm thinking of. They do reps where they're getting 300 shots a day, 300 makes, let alone. And that's how you make such a big jump, I feel personally, to being a Division I basketball player, let alone a professional basketball player. You just really need to live in the gym, get your reps, get a lot of shots, and they can't just be half reps. You gotta really work on your game.
I have a question for you. I know obviously you started off working at a golf club, and here you are now as a student assistant at Youngstown State. I kind of want to ask you, what made you decide to go with that transition? Was it maybe a gut feeling, or you really want to pursue this? What kind of made you switch and have that switch where you go, I want to be here?
So ever since high school, I always knew I wanted to be a college coach, and I never knew how I was going to get there. Some might say it's just God's way of things just played the way out. Everything happens for a reason, and the opportunity proposed itself, and I took it, and everything's just happening for a reason, I guess, now.
So speaking on, your career, what are your goals? Obviously all of us here are pretty young. We all have goals. So what do you want to do? Where's your peak?
I don't have one set goal like the that's out there. I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. I want to become a college coach. I'm sure once I become a college coach somewhere, that I'm going to there's going to be a new goal that I want to go after and strive for. And once I conquer that goal, there's going to be another one after that. And they're all stepping stones.
I like that a lot. Not see the top of the hill, but just each step.
Absolutely.
That's something I try to live by. And you worded that a perfect way. But one thing that I did want to ask and sort of implement on the podcast, just throwing a curveball here, so you're going to be our guinea pig for this question, is what is something interesting about Nate that everyone should know?
Nate is a go-getter. Nate is no matter what needs done, he's going to find a way to get it done. For example, every off day during our season this year, I travel to a different college and try to network. It was something our coaches at Youngstown State they were really shocked by, and they were impressed that we had got a day off. Most people would go rest, or I'm driving to Philadelphia, watch Temple practice. Later that day, I drove up to New Jersey to watch Rutgers practice, stayed in a hotel in Philadelphia, and then drove down to Maryland to watch Maryland practice in all under 24 hours, where we just got back from Milwaukee last night. I drove up to Cleveland to network a little bit, watch some high school basketball, just really trying to get my face out there and try to meet new people and let everyone know that I'm a go-getter and I'll do whatever it takes to get where I need to get.
I love that. I mean, that's how we met too. You just came down to a practice here, got introduced to each other from Coach Nettie, and now I'd like to think we're becoming very close friends, which I'm appreciative of. So anyone out there looking for a GA, assistant coach, whatever it may be next year, I mean, you got a grinder right here in Nate, so hit him up.
I appreciate it.
Of course.
Nate, I have a question for you. Obviously now you've been in this industry for a little bit now. When you have these networking and communications with people, because it seems like you're all over the place, what are key traits you look for in people, whether it's them being personal, whether it's them know what they're talking about? What are those things that you look for in somebody? Because, down the road, that could be somebody maybe you hire.
So right now, what I look in people is I'm surrounding myself by a lot of older people, a lot of coaches and all, because I want to meet new people. And so right now I'm kind of wanting to surround myself with people that know a lot of people that are good at networking. But from a coaching standpoint, I feel like I would want to get kids that are very personable, kids that you can talk to. It's hard to be around people that are hard to talk, and it can make you uncomfortable at times. But I just feel like when you start talking to new people, when you're networking all, you become a lot better at talking. You know what to talk about, and it really just becomes secondhand nature.
All right. I think we have another question for you. Do you have any questions for the three of us? It could be about anything. It could be about basketball or our jobs, or do you have anything for us?
Kind of throwing a curveball at me here, but I really want to know what's the different lifestyle for Dan and David. I've talked to David a little bit about it, where at Youngstown State we have 8 managers. We travel. Our last trip we took 3. What's traveling and all like for you guys? How many managers do you guys take and all?
I'll let you start off, Danny, if you want.
Okay, so last year, this is my second year being a manager. Last year we had 6 of us, and our boss took 2. This year we have 10 of us, and our boss still takes 2. But last year our boss took the same 2 on every single trip. This year, our new boss rotates, so it's the 5 returners. One of our head manager travels on every trip, and then our other 4 returning managers, we each rotate. So it's nice this year with being able to rotate. So that's kind of our travel situation. We have 2 GAs, but only one of them travels. So we only travel 2 managers and 1 GA. So things get a little intense on the road, but that's what makes it fun and exciting.
I hear you.
That's kind of a complete 180 from what we do over here. So we have a large staff. It is 14 managers, and we travel 4 on a road trip, and then our entire staff goes. So obviously coaches and all that, and then GAs as well. And then on the road trip, the 4 managers, one of them is designated as our live code guy. So during the game, I mean, it's fun. I do a lot of it for us this year. So like at Nebraska, I'm literally just like in the loading dock on the computer coding. Whereas Rutgers, they gave us, it was the rowing team locker room on the computer. So it's fun just to see all the different venues and places that they put you. But yeah, having 4 on the road definitely helps. Just there's a shoot around or loading the bus or anything. So that's very, very nice. And then day-to-day life, I mean, having such a large staff, it's fun. We'll play pickup games with each other. Those get really competitive. Coach Diebler, our associate head coach, will hop in those and cook us 99 out of 100 times. So that definitely makes things fun. And even though we have a large squad, we're all very close with each other. The joke that I sort of implemented this year is if people ask if I'm in a fraternity, I say, yeah, it's Alpha Kappa Manager. And they're like, oh, what's that? What's that? And I just mess with them. So it really is like a brotherhood and a frat, just with all the time that is put in and stuff, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I like that.
And then Nick, even though I know you're Hollywood, Mr. Walk On, even though last time we ran those ones, I mean, we don't got to talk about what I did to you in those ones, but if you want to explain sort of how your managers work.
Yeah, we have a head manager who's on every trip, and then it's normally 1 or 2 extra managers who come. But yeah, kind of similar to Dan's situation. Both of our GAs travel as well, though. But yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Hollywood.
You guys aren't in the trenches like us.
That's what I'm saying. He Hollywood. We all talked for like 45 seconds, 1 minute. He gave his boys like a 20-second little clip. No love.
Can we get names, Nick? Possibly.
Head manager's Chance. Chance kind of runs things. And then they bring Matt Marino or Felzy, our other 2 guys. We don't have as many managers as Ohio State. We got like 6 or 7. But Chance kind of runs things. Normally on the road we can't even get enough bodies for a manager game, so they always joke they always get trashed on Twitter in the manager community.
And it's the Ohio State to you, Nick, not just Ohio State.
I like that one.
No, for the viewers, I mean, if you've listened to previous episodes, it's all love. We banter with each other, but if you haven't listened before, I promise I love Nick. It's just brotherhood. We just go at each other. But yeah, unless anyone has any other things they want to bring up, I think we're ready to get into the storyline of the week. So with the storyline of the week, for anyone who hasn't listened before, we like to sort of end each episode going around, and 2 of the practice players will say something cool or fun, exciting that either happened within the basketball world or they're looking forward to happening. And then we like our guests to end it off. So today we have Nick going first and then Dan, and we will end it with Nate.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about today, on the day that we're filming, Temple takes down Houston at Houston. You know, Houston, number 1 team in the country. Game wasn't both teams didn't shoot the ball very well, but you know, Houston shoots 54 or 52% from the line, 11 of 21, and Temple shoots 20 of 22 at 91%. I mean, if that doesn't tell you free throws win games, free throws win games.
Free throws matter.
I feel like our Coach Altman, emphasizes so much how important free throws are. So to hear a game like that with a number 1 team like Houston, who unfortunately we lost to, lose like that is just kind of crazy. For my storyline of the week, I'm going to talk about the Kentucky Wildcats. They're a team that started off the year pretty shaky, and they've been shaky through conference play, but they've had a 3-game stretch where they've beaten Tennessee, who was number 5 in the country at the time, Georgia, who was 5th in the conference, and then Texas A&M, who was 5-0 in conference. On Tuesday, Oscar Tshiebwe had 37 and 24. So that Kentucky team, I mean, we talked about how shaky they were, but now that they're finally having this resurgence of winning, Antonio Reeves off the bench has given them great scoring. This is a team that can now, whether they're a 7 seed or 8 seed. You remember that Kentucky team that was an 8 seed making that tournament run. So there could potentially be a chance that Kentucky kind of makes that magical run again with maybe being a lower seed this year.
So for mine, I'm going to stay close to home for it on this Friday at 9 p.m. The YSU Penguins, we play Oakland at the Beagley Center at 9 p.m. on ESPN2. It's a real big game for us. We have a real shot to win the league this year. We're in third place right now. And we just took down Oakland, actually at Oakland. They have the second longest tenured coach in the nation, so we're looking to see how they respond. Our guys are coming off a tough loss at Milwaukee, so our guys are going to be hungry. It's going to be a real big game. I think it's going to be a really good game, all on ESPN2 at 9 p.m. this Friday.
Go Penguins.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, no, I think this was a wonderful episode. Want to appreciate my friend Nate for coming on, one of the bright young minds in basketball, one of the best managers out there. So how to get him on an episode. Appreciate you for joining us.
Appreciate you guys
as
having
always.
me.
Yep,
yes,
of course,
sir.
Of course.
And as always, PPP out.
Peace.